vultures. That's what's in your cup.
Welcome back, guys. Today,
Ooh,
we
the sun came on. It's good lighting.
God, is that you? You know, instead of grinding today, we decided to actually start putting some of the boat back together.
We're gonna treat ourselves today.
We're gonna treat
ourselves. Actually, start building.
Got a little decon to do. We'll probably vacuum for a bit, but we got some of this, which is total boat structural repair putty. Let's go in and I'll show you what I'm gonna use that on. Nice and toasty in here.
Come on, Sanka. Zip up behind you.
Here she is in all its dusty glory. Now, there's a lot of holes on the back of the boat here. Bunch of holes back here. And what we're gonna use is a structural repair putty, and might even drill those out a little bit, clean out the holes, get nice virgin material. Use structural repair putty on that. There's also some of these areas where you can see a lot of frayed material. Might pack in some structural repair putty on that, or maybe even grind it back more. I'm not sure. What we've decided to do here is, I know it's hard to see on camera, but this section here and this section here are raised, and you know, they're on two different elevations. So we're gonna try to make this one elevation so that we can put one big piece of Kusa here, one big piece of Kusa here, and one big piece of Kusa here. So 3 pieces stacked together. Gonna make the back of this boat strong like bull. Another thing we can do today is we got a hole here that I found while cleaning up, and another hole right down in there, which I think we can do today. The front of the boat is something that will need to get grinded down, but you know, sometimes you just gotta switch up the pace.
We've been demolishing for too long.
Yeah. Huh?
When did we do the patches?
We did the patches.
Is that like October? September?
September last year we did these patches, which I've actually grinded some of the pieces off of it, and just to see how it's holding up, and good news, it's fiberglass.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Who would have thought?
We did something right. Gotta get this thing in the water. It doesn't have to be 100% done, but we want to get it in the water, maybe with a chair and some structure in the boat.
A couple lawn chairs. We're like rowing it.
Our game plan is to build from the back of the boat. We're gonna do the transom first, stringers, because the way that I'm thinking about it is, like, if you do the transom, the stringers can butt up against the transom, so if the boat folds, it'll stop on the transom. You know, I'm not an engineer, so without further ado, let's get down the frame. Be gone, demon! Over here, this cut needs to be ground back over there and on the cut itself. So we really should probably do more grinding, unfortunately, but maybe we'll just putty in the holes, sand it, fiberglass it. Anytime we get into stuff like this, it just ends up being like, oh, where's this? And do we have that? Oh, and we need this. So we're just gonna drill out the holes, make them a little bit bigger, clean out the gunk. But I don't want to overbore it, so I'm just gonna go with like pretty small size here. We're also going to have to do that with all these little holes. So many little holes. Alrighty. I feel like we should just do like a test patch of fiberglass on this to see how well it adheres. Ooh! For safeties. That's why you don't buy expensive knives, boys.
That is not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. What's that, horseshoe crab? That has like
horseshoe crab blood. That's the good stuff, dude.
Use that in pharmaceutical.
This is methyl ethyl ketone peroxide, so
sounds dangerous.
it is a combustible liquid, and you're supposed to mix this.
So like 8 to 1, 10 to 1.
For 100 gram mass. Catalyzed with 1% mikveh for roughly 15 to 20 minutes of working time.
God, it's 100 to 1. Good thing we don't have a scale.
You don't need scales. It's backyard chemistry, boys.
Ooh.
Baptism by acetone, friends. The edge here. Chopped veggies. Today's lunch, we're having Jell-O. Right, here we go. That's something, right? You know, I feel confident that this is something. This is doing something, you know what I mean?
I definitely don't think it's doing nothing.
Yeah, like I kind of like, almost want to use it as like a fairing compound, kind of.
Is that 100 grams? You don't realize how much chemistry goes into a boat.
So this is $30 for the quart.
That's pricey, eh?
It ain't cheap. But yeah, so like this fibery sections here, I think, spackle this on in some of those areas. It might be a nice touch. The great thing about this is if you mess up, you just sand it down and do it again.
Right. No, it's not permanent damage to the
Right.
boat, you know. It will suck. Take a lot
It
more
won't
time.
be good.
We're doing like a skim coat at this point, like
Yeah, I'm just trying to get like, I'm kind of using this as like a fairing compound, which is not its intended use, but...
oh, in the respirator, dude.
Really taps into my toddler stage of life.
Play-Doh,
Yeah.
$30 quart Play-Doh.
$30 one used quart of Play-Doh. Yeah, this is called folding. If you're into baking, you just want to fold hardener into the compound.
It's almost as if you're folding butter into a brioche.
A nice brioche. Today, on Down to the Frame, we're making fiberglass brioche. So yeah, you can really just... I like how you're like, no, don't do it. But I did it.
So the alternative to this would just be using like the loose cut stuff, right? And like fiberglassing it in, or is that a different use case?
You can actually mix up a little bit of resin and filler and do this, which, you know, might actually be the recommended way to do this. Yeah, you mix up some resin, turn it into like a peanut butter. Wonder if you could use this to repair pants.
I don't know, I got a giant hole in the top, so maybe give her a shot.
Did not even know. It's a big lobby back here.
Oh my God. Did you pull out?
It's doing something. Unfortunately, my respirator is kind of wrecked. I was like so lightheaded for the longest time because I just was not getting any oxygen. So, and we don't have another one, and we can't get access to any more right now. So, unfortunately, probably gonna call it a day and order another respirator. That was the respirator we used before we had the cyclone separator. So there was a lot of dust in the air.
We've
when
had
we were
that
using
for
it.
a long time.
Well, that's a different one than the one you
Oh,
were
that was the
using.
first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you can see, it's curing. We'll probably run the heater a little bit before we leave, get the heat into the resin. Oh, look at it, it's on the tent.
It'll just add,
Fortification.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we will end up fiberglassing over there. We tested out on that crack. We added a little bit of putty on there. So I'm interested to see how it works out for us. Oh my God, what's on my shoulder? Oh, I touched the tent. Oh no! Oh no! We really got to start laying good fiberglass to get this thing going. All right, so it is Tuesday, 2 days after we put on the coating. Well, it still smells like structural adhesive. Oh my God, I'm gonna get dust on it. Just want to get in the boat and see if it cured, because I watched a video literally the day that we did this on Boatworks Today's channel, and unfortunately his structural putty did not cure because he didn't use enough hardener. I'm hoping we used enough. Oh no! Bad news, guys. Bad news. It's gelatinous. All, or at least the majority of it, of the structural putty that we used is useless, and we have to dispose of it somehow. Scrape it off. Awesome. Really wish that we had seen that video before we did that. I guess with that structural putty, you really need to make sure there's enough hardener in there or it will not set. It's a picky product. Keep it in mind if you're using structural putty from Total Boat. Live and you learn. Guess we'll go back to grinding and try to fix that hole over there the next day that I'm here. Sunday. We're gonna get in here and we're gonna do some grinding today. Gotta get this thing cleaned up, done grinding. Priorities are getting that crack or the cut that we made, get that cleaned up, and then try to grind as much on the front as we can. I'm not gonna scrape off the rest of that resin. We're gonna have to do that another day just to make sure that it doesn't cause any issues when we start laying fiberglass and the Kusa. So 4 grinding on the boat. I've stopped. My back hurts. I need water. All right, so I feel like you grind, and you grind some more, and at the end of the day, there's still more grinding to do. Did some of the front. Front looks a little bit better. Also, the structural putty actually cured. And so I think it was just because it was cold and we had used it when it was cold and didn't compensate with extra hardener. Yeah, I mean, that's good to go. And then more grinding, dude, more grinding. I switched to the yellow, the DeWalt grinder from our other one because the small one was like a 4 amp one. The DeWalt was actually 10 amps, so I used that one. I can't use that shroud. I put it on the DeWalt one and it basically shredded the shroud. So the dust collector shroud, it works great, but it really slows you down. And I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, there's more dust when I use it and just like hold the vacuum, but there's also way more material being removed than if I were to use the shroud. So it's warm out today, which means it's spring. Well, it's also the calendar says it's spring, but we're running out of time to get this thing ground down and rebuilt in order to get it in the water this summer. So I want to put in more man hours, but there's a lot of limitations. You know, your back can only take so much during one day. Your respirators can only take so much for the grinding. I'm hoping the fiberglassing will go way faster, and I think it will. I think we'll be able to, once we get the table saws out here and everything, get everything cut up and laid pretty quickly compared to what the grinding's taking. The grinding is the most important step next to measuring and making sure all the resins mix properly. We're getting there. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Give this video a like. Comment down below if you're new here or if you're returning and have any suggestions. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Down the frame.